So this video is kind of interesting. Going to be a lot of machines being used in it. My excavator, the articulating dump truck, and a little Suzuki carry. And actually, this kind of started all this footage back in maybe April or May when I started filming this, and had a neighbor come up and help me remove about 6 trees to the south of my cabin. There goes a big cedar coming down right there. I love trees. I like being in the woods, but at the same time, I like light. And originally, years ago, I built the sawmill with the intent to take down these trees, and I only took a few down. And it was helpful to have my neighbor up there because I don't mind dropping a tree or two here and there, but there's a size that I start getting sketched out by, and a few of these were growing together that he actually had to take 2 trees down at one time and leave it up to the guy that knows what he's doing. So here I'm actually firing up the excavator and running it down to start using some log tongs and start organizing these logs so I can actually take them over to my mill and start processing them into some nice lumber. So here I'm running a 40-volt chainsaw, and for limbing and cutting small bits of firewood, I'm really digging the electric tools now. I got an electric weed eater and a leaf blower, and the chainsaws do eat up a bit of battery for cutting firewood, and I think there's no substitution for like a big chainsaw and having it a two-stroke. But for small firewood cutting and limbing, it's been really pleasant. The saws are much quieter, and they actually go for quite a while for limbing. Here I'm kind of pushing stuff ready to get it for a fire. Keep in mind, this is in the spring, so I could actually still burn. Right now there's a burn ban on in the summer, but it's one of those things. It's kind of nice to have a fire and burn up the sticks, but there's an awful lot of branches from these 6 trees. A lot of lumber I'm going to get out of them. But right now we have a burn ban in the summer, so I just bought a chipper shredder for my tractor. I retired my old Troy built that I had some problems with that thing, and just decided I've had it for 12 to 15 years. It's time to retire that, and I bought a 3-point for my tractor, so you guys will see that up in part 2 of this video. Like I said, this is older footage from the spring. I got my excavator kind of brushing all this stuff, and I really need to get my thumb. I need to build a thumb for it, but managed pretty well to get all this stuff scraped up and burned up. But the thumb build is definitely coming in the future episodes. I've just gotten sidetracked with so many other projects and stuff around here that I can still manage with it. And right now I'm moving all this stuff with just some super cheap log tongs. And, other than getting on and off the excavator to hook it up, it actually works pretty well for maneuvering these things around my property and getting all these logs staged. So these cedar logs will get milled up. Some of the small stuff are just going to actually be used for post and beam to build a little roof over the excavator. In case you're wondering what that little structure is right there, it's a little tiny sauna I built maybe 15 years ago. It was inspired by a little one I found out at the lake years ago, and it was just a little renegade sauna. And I liked it so much, I decided to build another one for my little place. And a little wood-fired thing, I built a little wood stove for it. So this right here is a silver fir. It's really sappy wood. I'm not sure if I'm going to turn it into firewood or if it's got any value for lumber. I think I dropped 1 cedar, 3 Douglas firs, and 2 of these silver firs. So a lot of firewood to go around, some nice cedar for some trim and some siding, and a lot of Douglas fir for some post and beams construction, and just all around general good lumber. So I'm using these log tongs, and I'm actually backing up a fairly steep grade. It's hard to tell from the video here, but what I found with this is basically you back up 4 or 5 feet from the log, put the blade down so you don't tip forward too much. And this is a pretty big, heavy log. It's green still, and I think this might have been a 10-footer. Maybe it's only 8, but it's got some pretty good weight to it. And that little excavator I got, it's got some good lifting capability, but keep in mind it's only about a 5,500-pound machine. So it will lift the log, but on steep inclines like this, you're better off not trying to back up it, but just put the blade down and pull and lift it up slowly. And hey, beats the heck out of trying to move it by hand. So I know I've mentioned it before when I got my excavator, but man, I've wanted one of these machines for almost my entire life. Even when you're a kid, you would like an excavator, but all my adult life, I could have used one, and it's so nice to have a little machine. It's not the most beautiful. I like the styling of it, but it's not the most cutting edge. It's an old machine. It's a 1990. It's 30 years old, but it's so useful. I know you guys haven't seen it much on the channel since I got it, but I've done unbelievable amounts of dirt work and terracing around my place with it. And I haven't even had it for a year yet. I think I got it last October. So it's been just so priceless for the amount of work you can get done with one of these machines. Here I'm moving, I think, a 12, maybe a 14-foot Douglas fir log, smaller diameter, but this was intended to make maybe some long beams out of that stuff, and scraping up some debris here to try to get this fire stoked back up again and get all these logs up off the hillside. Without this machine here, to take down all those logs would have been an unbelievable amount of work. Oh, here's a little dirt work. I was fixing up a little driveway section and pulling out some ivy and some dirt off the hillside, and these are the jobs I usually never get the camera out to show, but something you would never tackle with a wheelbarrow and a shovel, but with an excavator and this little articulated dump truck I built, you can knock this stuff out super quick. For any of you that missed out on this articulating dump truck series, it was a lot of fun to build, a lot of challenging engineering aspects of that, but turned out pretty good. I'm still not completely done, but it's fully usable, and it's just one of those things that's super awesome to have around. So go back through. I'll put a link down below in the description if you haven't seen that build series, and I think you might like it. All this dirt work right here, you can see it's just fresh dirt. All this I've been doing terracing and cutting road grades in and just improving a lot of the pathways around my place and just widening everything and cutting back the brush. So the back tires are basically on some fill that I've added over the last year, and just slowly filling in this area here and kind of widening out the yard. It's been so nice having that mini excavator and that dump truck. Oh, and here's the little Suzuki carry. I just picked this thing up a few months ago, and it's very versatile. I didn't realize how useful the thing would be when I first got it. Here I'm just dragging some branches around, getting them out of my place. This is before I got a new chipper. But just the fact that you can take this thing into town, go get lumber with it or parts. You can take it out on the back roads and explore. You got a heated cab, and it's just a good all-around little mini truck. It gets through all my trails no problem. It's got a 800-pound capacity in the back of the bed, which is not that bad. One other thing to mention about these little mini trucks is you pretty much always have a smile on your face when you're driving them. They're just so much fun to cruise around in. This whole road grade I'm heading up right here, I've done all this dirt work with my mini excavator. Even for a small machine, you can do amazing amount of work for road grades and just leveling out areas and terracing. I'm on a pretty steep hillside, so getting nice roadways around it and terracing just really feels like you're utilizing your land a lot more. Dumping off these sticks down this little ravine right here, right behind a shop. But now I have that new chipper shredder. We'll be covering that in the new video, and it's just so nice to get that, turn that into, instead of old fire hazard, to turn it into a bunch of mulch for your garden. Good stuff. So here I'm hauling some maple firewood down to my log splitter. Keep in mind, all the stuff I actually have in this firewood pile down here, including this, I've cut with electric chainsaw. Mainly I want to see if I could cut all the firewood from my place and my father's place this year with just electric. It's just kind of a goal I kind of want to do. No other reason than to just see how the saws hold up. I have no problem running gas chainsaws, but it's kind of nice not to have to mix the two-stroke fuel and smell like two-stroke gas when you're running them, and just hearing the noisy chainsaws. So all this was cut this spring with electric chainsaws. Just been kind of one of those things I want to see if I can cut all the firewood for him and I. Probably we're going to get about 4 cords done. That's all we really need for our places. This maple here has been sitting around for a few years, starting to get a little punky, but still should be decent for burning. And for some of you guys that may have missed that build, I actually built this log splitter as a 3-part series on my channel. I'll put a link below to the first part of that in the description. And yeah, so my dad's helped me out here, and we're trying to get some work done before it gets too hot this later spring. And got most of our firewood down here, a nice spot. It can get a lot of sunshine. Where we're at, if you try and process this up in the woods, it just doesn't get enough sunshine on it. And it'll actually have some of my firewood start molding before. It's Western Washington. It's usually pretty wet. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is just a bunch of footage I had around here from the spring working with some of these machines I built and some of them I bought. And I figured that you guys might want to see some of these things in action. Next part of this video series will be midsummer. We're going to be staging more of those logs with the excavator, getting them ready for the articulating dump truck to haul them to my mill that I built. Some of you guys might be new to my channel. I've never seen that home-built mill that I made, so we'll be milling up some lumber. First, before we can do that, though, we got to weld a trailer hitch on the articulated dump truck. So we'll be running that, and I got that 3-point PTO powered chipper shredder, and we'll be tripping and shredding some wood and just various different projects like that. So keep an eye out for that video. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. If you have not subscribed, consider subscribing. Bye.